How to buy income property. Welcome back. Real estate always sounds so easy. Just buy a house on the front lawn, put a for rent sign, and sure enough, let someone else make you rich. Well, that's certainly an exaggeration, isn't it? You're not going to be able to buy a house, stick a sign on the front lawn, and become wealthy. That's not going to happen. If you think it is, you probably still believe in Santa Claus. So let's learn how to buy income property. I'm Ted Thomas. I've been involved in a subset of real estate for over 30 years. Now, when I learned about tax defaulted property, I never looked back because I could buy properties in 3,000 different locations, more than 3,000 different counties, auction properties for 10, 20, and 30 cents on the dollar. So my perspective of this business comes from a bargain hunter's perspective, and that is I want to buy it right so I can sell it quickly and not have to go through a lot of pushy sales techniques. What I want to do is be able to buy it right, so I'm going to buy at those tax defaulted property auctions, okay? So this is a subset of the regular real estate business, and I chose this some 30 years ago, and I'm going to show you some unique ways that you'll be able to make money, and this is a solution to find rental properties where you don't have to pay too much money. So you're about to learn something that everyone else doesn't know. Most people are looking at the rental market, and for sure, there's a lot of properties out there in the rental market. This market I'm talking about is not going to be glamorous. So if you get into it, don't expect the newspaper to show up and do a supplemental story on Sunday all about you, about beautiful pictures and all that. We're just going to buy bread and butter properties that are slightly abused. Now, some of the properties at auctions are junk. Don't buy those. But they're slightly used and abused, and many of the properties just need paint and cleanup. So you're getting the idea. So there's good markets and there's bad markets in real estate. Tax defaulted real estate works all the time. It's more of a level market. People anticipate it's going to go like this. Well, the regular real estate market does move like that. It moves up and it moves down on a regular basis. Tax defaulted real estate, it's abundant. There's always property for everyone. Anyone can get involved because you could start with properties that cost very little money, and you could work all the way up to buying properties in the country club. I'll be right back with some more information. Okay, today's episode is all about how to buy income property. Okay, I want to buy income property at bargain prices. So 30 years ago, I started out in the tax defaulted business. I've never had to look back. Why? Because over 3,000 counties across the United States will sell tax defaulted real estate. All right, now before I get too deep into this, I want you to understand. I understand wanting people want to buy rental property because they want to rent it out and they want someone else to make them rich. I get that. All right, the big challenge today is the prices are so high and the interest is so high. How are you going to get those things to cash flow? So that's not an easy problem to solve. But I've got some solutions and you just can follow along with me. So the local housing rules are what rental people have to pay attention to. So if you're going to buy rental property, you're going to have to understand the local laws, the state laws, and the federal laws regarding everything from deposits to what rights tenants have. So they're going to have rights, and believe me, if you violate them, you're not going to collect rent. And if you don't collect rent, how are you going to pay your mortgage? So keep in mind, you're going to pay property taxes. In other words, you're going to have to manage the property. So it's necessary that you manage property. That's not always easy, and it's not always successful, and it's not always fun. But if you're in the rental business, you're going to have to learn how to do that. So I'm not sure everybody wants to be in the rental business, but let me show you a part of it that you can get into that's important. Your challenge is going to be you're going to be competing with about 14 million other people that are all in that same rental business, because late night television has been talking about fix them up and rent them for my whole lifetime. So I don't know how long that's going to go on in the future, but it's certainly going on right now. All right, what's the most important thing in real estate? It's always the same: location, location, location. So if you buy in a bad area, then you're probably going to get some bad tenants. If you buy in bread and butter area, you're going to get people that are working people. If you buy in a country club, you're going to get people that are country clubs. So you've already figured all that out. So this is a discussion on how to buy income property. So the challenge for you is not going to be buying. What's going to be the challenge is, are you going to be able to buy at the high prices and the high interest rates? Both are going to be high in the marketplace today, especially in the past few years where we've had such big appreciation in the real estate. All right, so real estate is never going to be cheap. It's always going to cost money. Now you got to find out where you're going to get money to buy all this. So you're going to need someone else's money. If you're going to need someone else's money, that means you're going to get banks involved, which is going to involve appraisals, or you're going to have to get some seller financing. All right, so the combination of high pricing and high interest and maintenance can cause you to have cash flow problems. Well, I wanted to solve that problem, and I'm going to show you a way to do that in the next couple of minutes. In other words, the deal doesn't make sense in the regular marketplace because of the high price of real estate and the high interest rate, and there's always the maintenance. So if you're going to end up with negative cash flow, I don't know if you want to own that real estate and have to put money in every month. So you need to have a surplus of cash flow, because what's going to happen if the refrigerator goes out? What happens if there's a leak in the roof? Who's going to take care of all those contingencies? If you don't take care of them, the property's going to depreciate, and guess what? People aren't going to want to rent it, and how are you going to make your mortgage payment? So suddenly what looked like a dream come true, well, folks, it's going to turn into a nightmare. So you need to get properties that are going to cash flow. So I'm going to show you some solutions to doing that over the next few minutes, all right? You don't want to be in a situation where you have to sell the property. You always want to be in a situation where people want to buy them from you. So that's one of the reasons I got involved in tax defaulted property, because nationwide, there's going to be 3,000 tax defaulted auctions. Are all those properties going to be great? No. Most of the properties are used and abused. Some are junk, but some are just need cleanup, and then they can be put back into the marketplace as rentals or even properties that people could live in. All right, now those are the ones that we're looking for. So if you want to make money, you got to be able to buy it right. The tax defaulted business is the place that you want to be. Now, the solution that I want you to consider, first of all, is not doing what you see on daytime television. Daytime television has one program after another where a young woman and her handsome partner are fixing up houses. And what are they doing when they fix them up? They take a mediocre house and they make it into a mansion. And how do they do that? Well, they bring in a lot of contractors, put in new roofs, knock down walls, tear out fireplaces, make extra additions on the property, lay down new concrete, new landscaping, and they doll the house up, and then they resell it. That's an expensive business. I mean, a very expensive business. And that's not the business I'm talking about. I'm talking about buying at tax defaulted auctions. Now, you're not going to buy and resell like they do. They get it in 28 minutes of an infomercial. They get the whole deal done. This is going to take you a little time. So this is something that you have to spend a little time and learn about. All right, so the market that I'm going to talk about is tax defaulted real estate. Now that involves homes, it involves small farms, involves small apartment properties, involves residential buildable lots. All right, all of those are properties that people fail to pay tax on. You see those little white circles? That's how many auctions are taking place within that state in the next 90 days. This calendar updates every single day. I'm here today to show you how to make money. To do that, I'm going to show you briefly that there are thousands of tax defaulted real estate properties across the 3,000 plus counties in the United States. This is quite interesting. You're looking at the Ted Thomas Magic Interactive Map and Auction Calendar. It changes every day. Now, I created the calendar and the map so I would know how many auctions are taking place every day in the United States. Now I can show the little guy how to make money. Most importantly, I created this system so I could have an auction list for each auction 24/7. Now, if people fail to pay the tax, the legislature of the state has already told the county commissioners and the board of supervisors, levy the tax. If you can't collect the tax, then you have to confiscate, seize the property, push the property owner off the property, and then sell the property to collect the back taxes. Now, the county does not want those properties. They have no idea. They do not want that property. They just want to sell it. Now, what does that mean? That means that they're going to discount it 60, 70, 80% below the tax assessed value. So think about the margin here. The tax assessed value is way up here. They're going to start the auction down here at 10 or 20 cents on the dollar. If you could buy for 20 cents on the dollar and then sell for 50 cents on the dollar, you'd make a nice profit. Would you have to go through a long sales process if you wanted to sell? No, because all the bargain hunters want to buy at 60 and 70. Or even better than that, if you bought it at 20 cents on the dollar and don't sell it at 60, put it out into the marketplace after it's cleaned up and fixed up and rent it. Now you're buying properties at the right price. And when the property goes to tax defaulted auction, I can tell you right now, the local government, the tax collector, and the treasurer, they wipe out the mortgage. They cancel the mortgage, and they delete the deed of trust. So that means you have a property that you bought for 20 or 30 cents on the dollar. It's got no mortgage on it. Well, if you don't have to pay a mortgage, now you're going to have plenty of money to be able to pay maintenance, to do cleanup, to take care of the property, and make cash flow. All right. Now, the failure to pay property tax is a big problem. All 50 states have a problem with it. So the legislature mandated nationwide, everybody must pay property tax. Now, if the property tax is unpaid, the legislature has already authorized the Board of Supervisors to sell that property for pennies on the dollar. Huge discounts. They're going to discount them 60, 70, 80%. What they're after is they want to sell the property and get the revenue. The revenue is what the county wants, so they can pay for the hospital, so they can pay for the sheriff, so they can pay the school teachers and the schools and the firefighters and the police department. That's what the county wants to do. They don't want the property. If you could buy a property for 10 or 20 cents on the dollar, slightly used and abused, and you could resell it for 50 or 60 cents on the dollar, would that give you enough margin? Yes, it would. You could sell it, and you could put it on Craigslist, you could put it on eBay, you could put signs on the front lawn. You could let all the flippers know about it. You could let all the people that want to buy used and abused properties know about it. Or you could rent it out. You can do anything that you want. So if you want to buy income property, why not buy it down here where you got lots of margin? Then when you go put it into the rental market, you can make the kind of money you want. So ask yourself if that would work for you. Well, I can tell you, the county wants the money for sure. And what would you do about taking care of your family? Well, if you had nice cash flow, I know what you do. All right, now student investors get a little bit confused about all this because a lot of things happening. All right, first of all, they have to learn about the taxing and deed business. Then they have to learn about the rental business. So it's a little bit more than buying a property, sticking a sign in the front lawn and getting rich. It's not going to happen. So you're probably going to need a coach. You're probably going to need a guide. You're probably going to need a mentor. You're going to need someone to help you out. So give that a lot of thought. Why? Because you don't know what you don't know. Now, in my own experience, when I started asking people questions, well, that's when life got good for me. Because when they shared the answer, I wrote it down. Why did I write it down? Because experienced people are where you want to get your investment advice. For sure, starting a business is pretty darn intimidating, and that's what this is. This is a business where you can buy low, and you can sell low, and you can make money, and you don't have to become a pushy salesperson. Now, I'm going to run out of time on this video, but I do want to end by telling you a couple of different things. First of all, tax defaulted real estate is in every county across the United States. People want to learn how to do this. It's a process. It's a step-by-step process that you can learn. Now, if you'd like to have an auction list, I showed you an auction calendar. If you'd like to have one of those auction lists, you can go right below me when I finish. You can get to the auction list. But folks, when you go to an auction, when you go there, make sure you have looked at any property that you want to bid on. I don't know what would happen to that property. What if there was a hurricane? What if there was a fire? There could have been any kind of problem with that. Could be next to a pig farm. You don't want to have the smell of the pig farm next door. So you need to look at the property before you buy. Next thing you always need to make sure you do is you need to know what your exit strategy is. The whole strategy here is let's have margin. Let's buy it low, then be able to sell it low so we don't have to be a pushy salesperson and be able to get rid of the property quickly because we bought it at the right price. I'm Ted Thomas. I'll see you on the next video. Don't forget, request your free auction list right below me.